If you were to ask a random person on the street 20 years ago who is Spider-Man, anyone even slightly familiar with the red and blue wall crawler would immediately say Peter Parker. Flash forward now to 2023, if you posted on Twitter, who is Spider-Man, you would get very interesting responses, ranging anywhere from Peter Parker all the way to Nicolas Cage. And as exciting as the latter answer is, I want to focus on a specific Spider-Man, that being Miles Morales. Miles Morales was created in August of 2011 and was not loved upon his original creation. Responses to a second Spider-Man ranged from extremely racist remarks to people just not wanting or understanding why there would be two Spider-Man in the same universe with the same name and somewhat similar powers. Even though The Flash and the Kid Flash basically did the exact same thing in the mid-80s, but that's a video for another day. The first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, introduced the idea of the multiverse and the Spider-Verse into the mainstream Hollywood and non-comic book fans. This was a concept that superhero and sci-fi fans were already familiar with, but 10 years ago, if you brought up the concept of a multiverse traveling pig with an interdimensional mallet that he somehow kept in his back pocket tucked away, and his name was Spider-Ham, if you said that at a family gathering, you might have gotten checked into a mental institution. Now, after the extreme success of the Spider-Verse films, people are more familiar with the concept of multiple Spider-Men or Spider-People. Along with the movies being a hit, the main character Miles Morales has once again stepped back into the public spotlight, similar to 2011, but this time he being more widely accepted. Now, there will always be some people that will never accept Miles Morales as Spider-Man because of some physical traits, but my rebuttal to that is this clip of Stan Lee, the original creator of Spider-Man.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing you may not have thought of. You know one of the greatest things about Spider-Man's outfit, his costume?
What?
He is completely covered. So any kid could imagine he's Spider-Man because no color of the skin shows. He could be black under that. He could be red. He could be yellow. He could belong to any race. And that
True.
wasn't done purposely. It was done accidentally. But I think it was the best thing we did, making him so that he could be anybody under that costume.
Alongside the Spider-Verse movies, Miles has arguably gotten more popular from his appearance in the 2018 Spider-Man PS4 game. After the success of the game, which follows Peter Parker as Spider-Man, Miles got his very own game, which is basically a direct sequel to the 2018 game. And you know what that game was titled? Spider-Man Miles Morales. So if you weren't already convinced that Miles is Spider-Man, there you go. It was in the game.
The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
Actually, no. I have one more. This year, Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 was released, and throughout the game, you play as both Spider-Men. You play as Peter and Miles. And in the game, while they're going through combat and talking to each other, they both refer to each other as Spider-Man. So Peter calls Miles Spider-Man, and Miles calls Peter Spider-Man. It's confusing for like 3 seconds as the player, but then you understand what's happening and you get used to it. So why have I been yapping about Miles for so long? Well, I believe that at the pace that Miles' popularity is growing, that in the next decade or so, we will have a whole new generation that has grown up with Miles being their main Spider-Man. I mean, he's got his own movies, his own video games, and he appeared in multiple cartoons early as dating back to 2016 in The Ultimate Spider-Man. And a few days before writing this, Marvel Comics announced their brand new comic book series releasing in March of 2024 called The Spectacular Spider-Men. Similar to the PlayStation 5 game, this is more proof in my mind of the direction that Marvel and Marvel Comics is trying to take Miles' character as Spider-Man, putting him more into the public spotlight. Like most modern Spider-Man fans, I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. That's how I was originally introduced to the wall crawler. I fell in love with Spider-Man as a little kid through those movies. As I got older, I consumed as much Spider-Man media as I could get my hands on, anything from binge-watching all of the 70s, 80s, and 90s Spider-Man cartoons to eventually growing up reading some comics here and there and playing as many Spider-Man games as I could and that I could convince my mom to buy for me. I had my own specific introduction to the character of Spider-Man when I was younger, and I honestly wouldn't want to have it any other way. Like many of you, Spider-Man has taught me so many lessons that will stick with me for the rest of my life. But now, I'm grown, my childhood is over, and I am an adult. Seeing all of the Miles Morales media that is being made and loved by Spider-Man fans from young and old ages makes me so excited as a fan of Spider-Man the character. There are now kids that instead of watching Tobey's rendition of the Web Slinger swinging throughout New York City, having that be their core childhood moment, having all these memories of Spider-Man, they're now watching Spider-Verse, or they're playing Spider-Man 2, or they're playing Miles' own game. Instead of playing Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, they're playing the brand new Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5, and they're playing as both Miles and Peter. For a whole new generation of Spider-Man fans, Miles is their Spider-Man, and I love it. Like Stan Lee said, Spider-Man can be anyone. Spider-Man is whoever puts on the mask. And now that Miles is as popular as he is, I love that a whole group of kids are going to be able to connect with this version of Spider-Man. How Miles is able to impact and inspire a whole group of young kids that Peter's version might not have been able to connect and resonate with, but Miles's can. Kids that might not have been able to connect with Peter can now relate to Miles and understand the struggles that his Spider-Man and his character goes through. Not to mention how extremely more powerful Miles is than Peter. I mean, in the new game, he's basically Thor. Look, I love Peter Parker. He will always be my main Spider-Man when I think of the character. But now so is Miles. I love how popular this character has become in the past few years, and I'm so excited to see where Miles' character will go in the near future. So, what do you think? Do you think that Miles Morales' Spider-Man is on track to be more popular than Peter Parker's Spider-Man in like the next decade or so? Maybe you think Miles is already as popular as Peter. Me personally, I don't. I think the character has a long way to go, but I think in the next decade or so, he'll be right on par, if not more popular than Peter. And if you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, but if there's anything else you'd like to see from me in the future, different types of videos, please let me know. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Take care.